called a blueprint because that's more or less what it is here that we're talking about here. So this is something I put together to simplify our goals. And I changed it to gold because I want to go for the gold is what we want to do. Okay, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not an attorney and I'm not a CPA or anything. What I'm doing is just showing you what's worked for me. And this is all as is. I'm not really giving you any advice here, but I'm just kind of showing you what I do and giving you some ideas that may help you set your goals this year. All right, goals. Let's talk about gold. Okay, what is it? Well, the G stands for get clear. O is only 3 things. You may have heard me talk about that before, and I'll show you exactly how I use this technique here. Then live it. The L stands for live it. This is our lifestyle. This is what we do day in and day out. And then, of course, the D stands for done. So we got get clear, only 3 things, live it, and done. All right, let's start off with get clear. All right, what do you want? The biggest problem that I've seen over the years is most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. And that's something that's really hard on, for a lot of us to just figure out. It's so easy to just take everything as default at what comes to us. Those of us here, though, are a little bit different because we're creating our lives and we're actually designing our lives so we can live by design and not by default. So the biggest thing is to simplify everything for yourself and just see what you want. The workbook, the blueprint that I gave you, it's got some room in there to jot down some things. I personally like to use a pencil so I can redo it, but you can do that any way you want. But I would encourage you to write some things down. And pen and paper always seem to work better than typing, at least in my life. Okay, why do you want what you do? Do you want to create a legacy for yourself? Do you want to leave it to your family? Do you want to help other people? I mean, we all have different reasons why we want what we want. But that goes right along with what we want is why do we want it? Then we have, how will you get it? Well, most of us here are, we're looking at real estate and maybe doing some financing, some other things on how we will get what we want. So that's something that we have to create ourselves. And then when will you have it? It's very important to be time specific. Over the years, when we set up goals, and this is something I've done a lot in the past, is I just say, well, this year I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy 10 more properties. Well, that doesn't have any time with it. We have to be very specific on what we want because that's how our brains work. And by writing this down, that helps a lot. But we'll say, I'm going to do 10 houses this year. I'm going to have 1 a month. Well, that leaves 2 extra months for whatever may happen because things do happen, as you know. But what do we have to do? And then we have to break that down. What I'm going to do, 10 houses per year might be just 1 a month. Well, there's a lot of steps we have to take, and put in place to actually do that and fulfill our goal. Then we have, and what is this? I like to use 5 years, 1 year, 1 month, and then 1 week. Okay, I start off with 5 years, and then I like to look at this year. We do this every year, and things change. Some of our goals stay the same. Some of them we will adjust as time goes on. But I like to break it down even further. I break mine down to 6 months, and then I break it down to 1 month, and then 1 week. What do I have to do this week to do this? Do I have to send off so many letters? Do I have to call so many people? Do I have to have my VA do so much? I mean, there's just different things. What do I got to do this week? And then break it down even more. What do I need to do today or right now? What can I do? And that's something because, it's easy to get on what they call it, the nation of procrastina. It's easy to say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it Thursday. I'll do it next week. I'm kind of busy now. I don't feel like it. No, just look, what can I do right now? And that's something that, is this really going to my goals, or am I doing something that may just be a time filler or something else on my to-do list? So what can you do right now to get you to go towards your goals, towards your clear expectations? Okay, the O stands for only three things. You've heard me talk about this before, but only three things. Everybody tries to make things so complicated, it seems like, and I've done this myself. And I do a lot of journaling and things that I write down, and I'll write down, I think it's Mark Victor Hansen that says you need to have these big audacious goals, but it's big, hairy, audacious goals, I think is what he says, or BHAGs. But he'll say, hey, you should have 1,000 goals. Well, that's too many. I consider that more, it's too many for me anyway. It may not be for him, or for somebody else, may not be for you, but it's too many for me. I got to keep things really simple, and then only three things that goes towards my goals at one time. And again, I use the term kissers. Keep it simple, really simple. The simpler, the better. Everybody tries to complicate so many things in the real estate business and in some of the other industries that are out there. I just go back to the basics. Let's keep it simple. Write it down. Very important to write everything down. A lot of people in this day and age do use their electronic devices, their phones or computers and all that, which I do too. But I also carry a book with me at all times. My journal, I write things down. I have my to-do list as well as my goals on here. My goals, though, my 03 T's, my only three things, are what I do every day. That's how I start off my day, is writing down only three things. Then you have to review and adjust daily. Things do change, and you may have some things that you'll have to adjust the details on, which you will have. That's just how it works. I know in my life, that's one reason I cannot follow everything to the letter. And there's really not, in my world, not a plan B. I know Will Smith, which he did a real good thing on goal setting several years ago, but he says there is no plan B. You take plan A and you only follow plan A. What I found is that is very true. But what I do is I review and adjust daily for my plan A, because it's only a plan A. That's what I actually use. Okay, the L in GOLD stands for Livid. All right. These are your habits, your intentions, your expectations. And as one of my friends and mentors, Robert Allen, says, those are your rituals, what you do. These are what makes you rich. And it may not be just monetarily rich. This could be just your character, or your just your lifestyle, the way you live. That's your rituals. This is something you get into a habit of. There's a lot of good books out there on habits. Habits are something we do get into, and sometimes they're hard to change, but they're not as hard as maybe you think if you're going towards your goal. If you set your focus and your eyes on the prize, what your ultimate goal is, and just create your habits around that. But this is what you want to do every day. You want to separate this from your to-do list. It's really easy to say, well, my goals today is to call 5 people towards getting this property, and I need to talk to the attorney, or you have that in your goals. But then you might also say, well, I got to go to the bank, and then I have to go to the grocery store, or whatever the case may be. And that's your to-do list. It's very important to keep those two separated. You want to use your resources. We all have a lot more resources than we think. And a lot of times we don't have to worry so much about how we do things, but just knowing what we want to do, and then who maybe can help us. You'd be surprised out there how many people and it's not that far apart, that can do exactly what you need to do. And they're people you already know. So use your given resources. These things are already given to you, and they're out there. Then you want to embrace your sudden storms. This is something that I had to learn a few years ago. And actually, I've been learning this my whole life, which I didn't really know that. But there's all kinds of stuff that you don't count on that comes your way. I've talked about Robert Allen, my friend and mentor. He wrote a book, him and Aaron, his son, a couple of years ago, called The 4 Maps of Happy, Successful People. And he talks about this. You write 4 maps every day. You draw these and write them out. But one of the things that we have to, that we do encounter, but we have to embrace these, is our sudden storms. Okay, you have to take a step back. What can I do about this? Is there anything I can do about this? Do what you can. Don't worry about the rest. Just do what you can with what you have, because these sudden storms do come up every not necessarily every day, but in every situation. They come up all the time, and that's something that we have to. I say we just have to embrace them and go through them and just see what we can do. And then you have to adjust and continue, because you're going to make adjustments as this comes up, as these storms come up. Speak and write your affirmations. I'm real big on affirmations, and there's a couple different ways you can do that. Writing these down really help. I went through some courses and camps a few years back that, they consider the affirmations that, I am powerful. I can succeed no matter what. Those are all good affirmations. But I also like to look at affirmations as things that I am going to do when I'm doing my O3 Ts every day. I'll sit and look, well, I am going to call, George, the guy who's going to make our road today, towards a property we are working on. I am going to talk to Barb at the collector's office to see if she has the new list out. I am going to do this. I consider those my affirmations as well as is the other one. So that's just something, and writing them down and speak them. It's really good to talk that and get that out verbally. Words are very powerful. They set the stage for a lot of our habits and a lot of our intentions. And then you want to review these daily. I've said that several times, but this is important. Keep the goal, keep your prize in front of you. What are you doing this for? Why do you want to do it? What's your ultimate goal in this? And just review this, just look at it. And then the D in goal is done. If you do all those other three simple, fairly simple steps, then you will consider it done. You're going to sleep better. There's not something you have to worry about. Well, I didn't get this done. Well, you already have your sudden storms that you're going to be going through. But consider this done. It's just adjustments. And act as if you're already there. In the past, and we've all heard this, they say fake it until you make it. Well, that's okay. You can fake it. I don't like the word fake for anything. I don't like the word, there's a lot of words that I don't like because it's a mental thing. We've talked earlier about using the word home buyers instead of tenant buyers, things like that. It's just, this is another thing. It's just, words to me are very important. I don't want to act like I ever fake it, but I'm already, this is what I'm doing. This is my ultimate goal. I am doing this. I'm living this dream. Keep your eyes on the prize. I mentioned this before. This is very important. Keep your eyes on the prize. What are you doing this for? Why are you doing it? Where do you want to go? And how are you going to get there? Don't worry as much about the how. You got resources for that. We just talked about. There's, the things will come to you. If you've got a big enough why, don't worry about the how. You've probably heard that from a few people several times. That's exactly how it works. And then we have, this is really important to review and three things, but you can review all your goals or whatever you have written down. The first thing and the last thing each day. The first hour of my day every day is for myself only. I do not look at my cell phone. I don't look at my emails. I don't look at anything. Sometimes I read something or do something. Sometimes I do look at my journal or at my my calendar, some things. The first thing in the morning, I write down what are my most important only three things today. Then at the end of the day, I review and look at that. What got accomplished today? What were the sudden storms I ran into? What didn't work? But review that. If you do that right before you go to bed, your brain kind of subconsciously thinks about and figures things out while you are sleeping. It's amazing how our brains are computers and it just works like that. But if you do that the last thing right before you go to bed or one of the last things, even if you do get up, 3 or 4 in the morning and you work on some other things, I still do that. And then I might look at that if I get up after a few hours and start working on some projects I'm working on. But review and just make adjustments. Revise and adjust as you need it. Just do that. You're going to run into this kind of stuff. Nothing is really carved in stone these days. We're not out here making hieroglyphs and pyramids or anything like that, but we are designing our lives. And things do have to be adjusted when those sudden storms pop up. You just have to see what works. Okay, what can I do now? What can I not do? Don't worry about everything else. Just revise and adjust it as it works for you. And then celebrate every win, large and small. Okay. One of the things that, and I was really guilty of this in the past, and you might have heard some other people say this, that they focus on the gaps and not the gains. You want to, not everything works perfectly as planned. Okay. That we do make plans and things still come up like the sudden storms or whatever the case may be, but you want to celebrate. Maybe I didn't get 10 houses done this year, but let's say I got 8. And, the biggest problem we as humans have most of the time. We'll focus on, well, I was too short. And that's kind of like a downer. It kind of just brings you, you're not celebrating that. You're looking at the gap. No, look at the gain. Yes, maybe I didn't get my full 10 that I had planned, and that was my intention, but I got 8. What a great victory that is. You got 8. That's 8 more than you had before. Celebrate that. This is great. What did I do? I mean, this is something that you want to just say, yeah, this is great. I actually did way more than I planned on. You're still a bigger and better person than you were last year or when you didn't have any goals. So, or had lesser goals. And the person you're going to be tomorrow, you can start today by doing this. Just celebrate. Be in I like to find myself in a mood of gratitude these days. In fact, there's as far as praying, I don't ask for a lot of things other than guidance, and I ask for, what can I do today to help people? And I stay in try to stay in a state of gratitude. That's what I have to think whenever I'm trying to think negative or say something. And thank God I have a great wife that supports me and points these things out to me when I do maybe say something a little negative. She'll say, well, what are you being grateful for? This is not helping. So that's a very good reminder. And I encourage you to do yourself, get somebody that's your cheerleader also. That's one reason I like to have our meetings that we have, and our support that we do have. At least once a month, but I like to do that more often. And this is it's kind of like a therapy, but it does help you stay in the right mindset of of just having a mindset full of gratitude and celebrate the wins. It's so important to celebrate, even if they're small wins. You might have just, and if you're in a bad state of mind, maybe your celebration today, could be small. I've been through some tough times in my life where, I've just said, you know what, I need to celebrate. I got out of bed today. I took a shower and I ate something. As silly as that might sound, there's been times, and we've all go through times, peaks and valleys in our lives where maybe that is a victory that we need to celebrate. And I've had that myself. But just look at something. There's a lot of things. Hey, I've got food to eat today. There's people in the world that don't have food. Celebrate that. That is a win. So that's just something that I like to point out. And just celebrate what you did have. Don't focus on the gap. Focus on the gain. So that's it. And I tried to simplify this as simple as I can. GOLD stands for, the G is get clear. O is only 3 things. L is livid. And then D, and you are done, as good as done. So those are the things that, and I sent you a blueprint to go with that. Biggest thing is, and we're going to continue with what we've been doing. As you know, Secrets of a Dealionaire, our OTC Premier Signature Series. This consists of fast track real estate investing workshops and other trainings. These are simple, proven, guaranteed systems that does not break the bank. And I want to stick with always with that, does not break the bank. And the biggest thing I can say about that is just stay educated. It's okay to spend some money, but just be aware of what you're spending your money on. Is it worthwhile? Is it getting you to your ultimate goal? And that's what I have that I wanted to share with you today is your goal setting. So